All right, guys, welcome to another edition of Monday Marketing Mastery. I'm your host, Ryan McMorris, and we've got a very special guest tonight. She has prepared a wonderful Monday Marketing Mastery sermon for us to bring us the heat tonight. So, as always, we'll wait a couple minutes. We'll let some people continue to file in. I know I see some familiar names here, and always you guys are always showing up early. So I know that a lot of you are excited. I know Lisa's excited. I'm excited. Lisa and I had some really good conversations leading up to this. Probably a lot of conversations that we didn't want to have because it took so long just for webinars on air to cooperate. But we're here now, so we're doing some awesome stuff, and I'm excited to hear what Lisa's got to teach us tonight. Especially so if you're new to Monday Marketing Mastery, I'm Ryan McMorris. Now tonight we're going to be going over some exclusive stuff with blogging. So I know a lot of the names I see here tonight are people that I know already have a blog. There's some new names, some new faces that I know that are looking to blog. So tonight will probably open your eyes a lot. So without any really further ado, because I know we've got a lot of stuff to cover tonight, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Lisa. But if you can, give Lisa your full attention because, she is an absolute rock star. She is a beast at blogging. She is an excellent marketer. She's got some of the best experience that you can pack into it, into any kind of training. So she's got some exclusive stuff tonight. Make sure you turn off your cell phone. Make sure you tell everybody where you are tonight. So before you shut down Facebook, because we all know you're on your computers, before you shut down Facebook, before you lock your kids in the closet, before you shut off your phone, let everybody know where you are. Tag them in a post. Go to my Facebook page, fan page, whatever. Somewhere this thing is posted because Monday this is what we do. So do that, and then I'm going to turn it over to Lisa so we can get this thing kicked off. So I am out of here. I'm gonna step back and let the experts take the stage. So I'm going to give it to Lisa.
Thank you, Ryan, for the awesome introduction. And I'm going to quick get this started here. I'm going to bring up my slide, and we'll set it from the beginning there. And I want to make sure that this is coming up here. And Ryan, can you see my screen?
Yeah, you're all good.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight. You're investing your time, and especially during this busy holiday season, to learn about marketing. And I'm really excited for a lot of you who are coming aboard and you're going to start blogging and becoming the authority and expert. This is the best platform to help you do that. Blogging has always been my first love. And so tonight I'm going to be sharing with you some real simple tips to make your content the star. A lot of times when we first get started blogging, we fall in love with having this really glitzy, glamour, professional-looking website that it becomes so busy that our content takes the back seat. And that's something we don't want. We want people to come to our blog to read our content. And this was a big lesson that I had to learn when I first got started blogging. And I want to say congratulations. You guys really made a great decision to come out here tonight. We're all kindred souls because we are among the few that do versus the many who talk. Now, you and I both know that online success is not determined by how many people view your blog. It's not the traffic, the amount of traffic. It is having a highly engaged audience who come back to your blog over and over again, and they become buyers, reps, and customers. Now, before I dive into the training, I want to ask you guys some questions. And do any of these ever relate to you? You've seen people getting lots of engagement, leads, and sales from their blog, and you haven't had one single lead yet, and it's starting to get frustrating. Nobody's commenting or sharing your blog posts. You're tired of being in the same place year after year. You're working hard. You're putting your content together. You're publishing on a consistent basis, but you're still not getting the results. Nobody takes you as a credible expert, and you're ready to have a blog just like a top earner if you have a proven strategy that just plain works. Now, why do we need to talk about blog design? I'm going to share with you some pretty startling statistics about blogging and blog design. Marketers who blog on a consistent basis receive 67% more leads. Blogs are the 5th most trusted source for accurate online information. Blogs, like I said before, establishes you as the authority and expert, and marketers who blog 15 or more times per month get 5 times more traffic. So if you have a real consistent schedule, whether you're going to blog every single day or 3 times a week, you're going to get traffic. The law of averages is going to play in your favor. Now, my official promise to you today in this training is that I, Dr. Lisa Thompson, promise to share with you my blogging design tips that have allowed me to triple my visitors to my blog and generate 8 to 10 leads per day. I promise by the end of this training, you will be able to implement the exact strategy yourself within 24 hours, and I promise to show you how this strategy will allow you to sponsor all the people you would ever need to become a top producer and any direct sales, multi-level, top tier, or affiliate program. And finally, I promise you more fun out of life and the ability to provide for yourself and your family with everything you want for you and for them, and the peace of mind that comes with it. Is that a bold promise? You bet it is, and I will keep it. So here's what you're going to learn today. And before I say that, Ryan, can we make sure that we activate the Q&A? If you have any questions throughout the training, please put them in the Q&A. Reason being is that with the platform that we're using here for the webinar and training, that is a scrolling chat, and we can't scroll back to catch previous comments. So if you put it in the Q&A, we can see it, and then we'll be able to answer your questions. So what you're going to learn today are 5 tips to really making your content the star. These are very simple tips. Tip number 1, you're going to know what the bounce rate is. We are going to talk a little bit about basic SEO. And yes, it is crucial. Your blog design is crucial to get your rankings to be on the first page of Google. Tip number 2, we're going to talk about the color and point size of your written content. This is very important because you're going to find as we go through this training that more people are viewing your blog on a mobile device. Tip number 3, how to simplify your navigation, your menu bars, so that you can suck in leads. You're also, whoops, where did I go here? Whoops, sorry guys, I clicked on a notification thing. My bad. And we're also going to be talking about, whoops, sorry there. We're going to be talking about the strategic placement of your social share buttons. There's a strategic place that you need to put them that is going to give you shares, okay? You want your post to be able to go viral, and if you put them in the wrong place, people are not going to be sharing your content. And then the 5th tip is we're going to be doing a mobile responsiveness test of your blog. I'm going to be giving you a tool, an online tool that you can use where you can just type in your blog domain and you can see how it looks in your mobile devices. So let's get started. Who am I and why should you care? Now, a lot of you may not know that I was born 50% deaf. I only have 50% of my hearing, and for a long time I was really an introvert. I did not like going out in public a lot. Being in a real noisy environments have been real hard for me. It's like if you're on a surf, if you ever walked a beach and you heard a pounding surf, That's what it's like, always in my head and in my ears, and it can be really challenged to communicate with people in a real noisy environment and with and on the phone at times. And I had no warm market, no biz experience, no advertising budget. I'm a speech language pathologist by trade and working full time. Now, in 2008, my husband lost his job in the Great Recession. He lost it right before Thanksgiving. And Christmas of 2008, I cannot tell you a thing what happened at Christmas, because from December 1st through December 24th, I worked every single day, long hours, traveling across the state of Minnesota, doing work because I needed to have the money and the hours to pay for putting my husband on my health insurance plan. And I will tell you, when you work for 23 straight days like that, you are physically and emotionally spent. And I knew that I couldn't do that all the time. So I began to look at blogging as a way to generate income. And I've always loved to write. I've always loved journaling growing up. So this seemed like a really good outlet for me. But along the way, I was still treating it like a hobby. And then in 2010, April 1st, 2010, Easter weekend, my dad fell in a freak accident at home, broke his neck, became a quadriplegic. He was 8 months shy of turning 65, which in the United States, that means you can access your Medicare benefits. And so he is now in a hospital rehab center, eventually went to a nursing home. 4 months after he had this accident, we found out he had end-stage esophageal cancer, which was caused by Agent Orange. My dad was a Vietnam vet. And then he passed away March 31st of 2011. And I'll tell you, during that year, it's the most difficult year of my life. And I spent many, many sleepless nights in bed thinking, you know, we're all one catastrophic incident away from having your livelihood wiped out, your ability to earn wiped out. And I kept thinking, you know, my husband still is unemployed at the time, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what will happen to my family if I suffered an injury like my father? Who would provide for my family? And I began looking in earnest at that point. I was looking still at blogging. I was looking at all these traffic strategies. I was addicted to shiny objects. I was a frequent visitor to JV Zoo and the Warrior Forum, you name it, trying anything and everything. And so my blog became a money pit before it even got off the ground. But I knew that I was meant to do something. I knew my mentor was out there. And in May of 2013, I found my mentor, and they began to teach me what I needed to do to be successful with blogging, especially looking with design and content. Now, I want to show you this graph right now. I started this blog on MLSP sites back in the middle of September. And before I did any type of blogging design, and I also took Ray Higdon's 3-minute expert course that I purchased in November, I was averaging about 43 views a day. So you can see my total monthly views were around 1,300. But then last month, I went and I implemented some simple design tips. I was doing some testing, and you can see in the month of November, I literally tripled my views. I almost quadrupled my views, where I wound up going from maybe, this was 1,275 views in October, all the way up to over 4,200 views in November. And I went from averaging 40 views a day to over 150 views a day. That is exciting. And when that spiked, that's when I began to really start getting consistent lead flow. And over time, as I began to do this, and I began to blog consistently, and I began to make design tweaks, I hit the top of my leaderboards in my company, and for the last 2 years was recognized on stage as a top earner and producer at my company's last live event. And what happens is when you blog consistently and you're providing great value, you're not only going to attract the perfect prospects to your blog, but you're also going to attract the leaders who can come and hold out a hand to you. One thing I've learned is that leaders are always looking for the next generation of leaders who are consistently out there hustling, putting their best foot forward. And when they see people doing that, the leaders are going to reach out their hand and say, hey, I want to help you do better. And these were 3 leaders that really helped me. You may know them. April Marie Tucker, she is an Instagram marketing expert. Mark Harbert, a video marketing expert, and Lena Bjorn, an attraction marketing expert and author of her Success Blueprint. And they all talked about how I really helped people, you know, really take action and get results. So let's start with the first tip about search engine ranking factors. Before we do any type of design for our blog, we need to understand what the purpose of SEO is, and that's just search engine optimization, and that is how can we get our site on the first page of Google where we can get that organic traffic with 0 ad spend. There are 3 factors that Google pays attention to when we are putting content out. The content must be unique. The content must be relevant, and the content must be engaging. So how does design affect that? Well, you have to make it where the content is the star, and people are going to stay on your site and comment. So one key metric that Google looks at when they're measuring your website is called the bounce rate. And what that means is how long a visitor stays on your site before they leave. So the bounce rate affects search engine ranking. So if you have a high bounce rate, okay, a high percentage of a bounce rate, the lower you're going to rank in your search engine rankings. And you want to avoid a high bounce rate. And there's a lot of factors that go into a bounce rate, but one of them is if you have content that they just cannot read, the content's unreadable, there's too much noise on your blog, there's too many pop-ups that they get fed up and then they leave. You know, you want to make it where it is clean, it is elegant, and people are going to want to stay. So to find out about your Google bounce rate, on the MLSP Sites blog, we have what's called a Google Analytics plugin. There is a training, if you are in the 3-minute expert course, that they go through on how to set up your Google Analytics account. And in the back office of your MLSP sites, there's a training portal, and they talk about how to set up your Google Analytics. So that's a really recommended key metric that you should be checking at least a minimum every week so you can track and see what your blog is doing. Remember, you can't manage what you can't measure. Now, the role of a blog design. I want you to look at the image you see on your screen here. That's a diamond. I want you to start thinking of your blog as your content as the most expensive jewel you have, okay? And you want that jewel to be shown off. And typically with a diamond, what do they always put the diamond on? They always put it on that crushed black velvet, so that makes the diamond stand out. So most people are going to decide in the first 3 seconds if they're going to stay on your blog. And your site needs to make a great first impression. Remember, people are going to check you out, and they're going to know in the first 3 seconds if you're worth spending time with. So you want your blog design to be elegant, easy to navigate, and above all, your content is the star. You want that website, your blog content, to be so wonderful that you make them want to stay. So let's go to tip number 2. how to make your content stand out. And we're going to cover some key areas. Number one, subject headings. We're going to talk about the point size and color of your content, the role of images, and the role of video. Let's go through each of these one by one. Subject headings are extremely crucial when it comes to blogging, and especially with SEO. You need to have a minimum of at least one H2 and one H3 subject heading containing your keyword. Make sure your subject heading is bold-faced and you're using black or red color for the headings. And here is why. Typically when people read a blog, we never read now going left to right anymore. When we're on a mobile device, we're scrolling. And so what people tend to do when they're looking at a blog, they're going to first scroll through to see how long it is, and then they're going to look for the subject headings. And if they see a subject heading that catches their eye, they're going to stay longer and they're going to read that subject heading first. And so I like using a red color and bolded for my subject heading because it stands out. Red grabs attention. You want to avoid anything blue, okay? And I'm going to explain that to you in just a few minutes. So make sure you have subject headings in your content because that's going to break it up and it's going to give your blog also more pop. Font and point size. The default font for WordPress, the color, is a light gray, which is extremely hard to see. 14-point font size is the recommended size for your blog content, okay? It's easier to see on mobile devices. I recommend that you use 14-point size not only on your blog content, but also in your email messages. You want to use black font. Again, black is very easy to see, and what it does is, I'm going to talk here about keeping your clickable links blue and bold-faced. Because if you look on the screen here, if a font point is black, the blue stands out. This is why you should avoid using blue font for anything else, whether it's in the subject heading or with your content. You need to have blue only for your clickable links. That's the number one thing that I've seen, Ryan, is so many people, the reason they're not getting leads is that they have a different color for their clickable link. Okay? We have been trained. My husband is a technology teacher right now in grades K through 8 in a parochial school. And he teaches these kids as young as kindergarten, whenever they see a blue word online, that means it's a clickable link. Okay? A lot of times now you're no longer seeing the underline. There used to be like an underline that says it's a clickable link. Now they're getting rid of that underline. But people recognize that if they see something blue, they're trained. Hey, that's a clickable link. My eyes are going to be drawn to that. Okay? Think about Ivan Pavlov and his dogs. There's famous Russian psychologist Ivan Pavlov who had trained his dogs to salivate at the sound of a bell. And what he did is he paired a juicy steak with a bell, and pretty soon he gradually removed the steak, and all of a sudden the dogs are salivating with the sound of the bell. This is the same thing that happens when people find blue text in content. They have been trained from the beginning. Oh, if I click on this, this is going to take me to another tab or another website. So if you have, clickable links that are a different color, people are not trained to see that. Okay, so always keep your links blue and bold-faced. Paragraphs. This is another key thing. Paragraphs should be a minimum, or maximum, of 1 to 2 sentences in length. Reason being, again, if you're on a mobile device and you're scrolling, if you have 4 or 5 sentences, it looks very long on a mobile device, and people are going to lose interest quickly. So if you have 1 to 2 sentences, that is a right chunk of data that people can read through, and it's easy to read. Let's talk about images and videos. Images help break up the text, okay? I see a lot of bloggers out there where they'll write a ton of content and there's no images. And when people have to sit and read all text in their content, it's too hard on the eyes and they're going to jump out. Okay, we are in a digital age where visual engagement is key. So we need pictures. My rule of thumb, you know, and images help break up our text, is to insert an image for every 600 words in your blog. So you can always check on, with WordPress, if you save a draft and you use the Yoast plugin, it will tell you how many words you are in your blog. So if you know you're going to be writing a real long blog post, you're going to want to make sure to add some images in there to break up the content. Now, you don't want to add too many images, okay? If you add too many images, what happens is that it's going to take a long time to load, okay? And on your website, one of the factors that Google looks at is how fast your website loads. So if you have a lot of images and it takes real long, people are impatient these days. They have the attention span of a gnat. And so if it's taking long for them to load this, for a site to load, they're just going to ignore it and find something else. So that's why you want to keep the images at this recommendation that I have here. You want to make sure that your images are congruent to content. That should say are there, not and. And if you need images, now this is something you also want to avoid doing too. Just don't go on Google and download any image and put it on your blog. Something happened to me last April where I took an image. I thought it was on a public domain. It wasn't. I got contacted and I had to pay a $90 fine. And this was a blog post I wrote way back in 2013. So just a lesson to really be careful with the images you select. You can go to pexels.com for free royalty images that are high definition. Okay, you can find those. You can find images that can match what is congruent to your content. You can go on Canva, canva.com, and you can design your own images there as well. And make sure that you have a picture of yourself at the end of the blog, like a headshot. So if you have a good headshot of yourself, you know, that you're using on social media, like on Facebook, and it's a nice headshot of you smiling, put that down at the end of your blog. That's a really nice touch. It's a really great way to brand yourself. Now, I want to share with you really quickly a super ninja image tip to get some leads. Okay, so when you're adding these images into the blog content yourself, what I want you to see on your screen is that when you upload an image, you're going to see, I have a little arrow down here under image attachment display settings. Okay, you want to put the link to your call to action. Okay. If you're watching or viewing and taking the 3-Minute Expert course, Ray Higdon always talks about putting a PS at the end of your blog post, which directs them to a link to either, you know, get on your list, or you're going to offer them a free training. Maybe you're going to take them to a sales page. Maybe you're going to take them to another webinar registration page. Take that link that's in your PS and put it under the attachment display settings, because if people love to click on those links too, and if they do, that's going to take them right to that lead capture page. It's very, very powerful. And then one other thing, to make sure up here under the alt text you put your keyword that you're using to rank in the search engines here as well. That's also going to help you rank. Now I have that here. Add your URL from your call to action and your PS setting, okay? And make sure to check the box that the link will open in a new window to reduce your bounce rate. Now you can't do it from where you upload, so what you'll need to do is when you see the image and you take your mouse button and you hover over the image, you'll see like a little pencil that says edit. You click on that edit button, and if you scroll down, you'll see like a little you'll see like a box that says open link in a new window. You always want to do that, because when you do that, then the link's going to open in a new window, and then your blog will still be up in the browser, and that will help reduce your bounce rate. So let's talk now about videos. What I like to do is incorporate at least one video into my blog post. This is very powerful because a lot of my readers, they like to read and they also like to see a video. Now, you can try to put, I would recommend putting the video in the middle of the post to break up written text. And if you do video, you don't have to put those images in there. So like, for example, if I have like maybe an 800-word blog post and I have a video in the middle, I won't insert another image. But if I have like a blog post that's maybe, you know, over 1,000 words, I'm thinking maybe anywhere between 1,200 or more words, and I have a video, then I'm going to put in another image just to break up that text. Now you can use video from YouTube, Facebook, Wistia, that's a web hosting. Make sure you're in the video. You know, in the beginning you can find some other videos that are congruent with your content. That's a really great way to do it when you get started. But eventually you're going to want to put you in the video, okay, because that's going to brand you as the authority. What I love to do when I do my content, I have a daily show that I do on Facebook called The Doctor Is In. So I'll have like my main teaching and content in the video. But then what I do is in the blog post, I'm going to add some other supporting details that will hint to what the main content is in the video. That way, if people want to know more about what the crux of the content is, they have to watch the video. So for example, if I'm talking about, you know, 3 strategies to get more leads on Facebook, I might have as my introduction to my blog post some statistics about Facebook marketing, Facebook leads, and then I will say, to learn the exact strategies, watch the video below, and then down at the bottom I'll kind of do a little summation saying, what did you think of those 3 strategies? Which one resonated with you the most? Leave a comment. Let's continue the discussion. So then that way you can get some engagement. I like embedding my Facebook videos into my blog post because then people can like the video there, and it also increases the views on my Facebook videos, and it improves my edge rank on Facebook. That's Facebook's way of measuring SEO. So if you have a higher edge rank on Facebook, that means your content in the news stays in the news feeds longer. So make sure too that your videos are congruent, okay? You don't want to be, if you're talking about a blog post on Facebook leads, you don't want to be putting a video in about MLM prospecting, you know, that's really toward like you know, hotel meetings or phone prospecting, or you're doing something regarding SEO. So you want to keep things congruent as possible. Before we go to tip number 3, Ryan, what do you think so far?
This is awesome. This is really big stuff. I mean, if you may look at this stuff and you think, oh, that's not like a crazy change. But I'm telling you, these little tips, like, they make people click, and that's what's the best part about it. You make people stay, you make people click, and you make them come back again. So this is awesome stuff.
And it's these little simple things. I mean, I think as human beings we tend to overcomplicate
Yeah.
But if you do the simple things, you're going to be amazed at how much more results you're going to get.
Yep.
So
Simple disciplines every day.
let's look at tip number 3. We're going to talk about navigation of your blog. And what we're going to be talking about here are the menu bars. Okay? We want no drop-down menus. Okay? That's very, very important because with a drop-down menu, they're very hard to navigate on a mobile device. You know, usually drop-down menus were very popular when they had what were called static blogs that were about maybe 5-10 years ago, before the mobile devices really came into play. And that's why when we talk about blog sites being mobile responsive, we want to make sure that there's no drop-down menus, because they also add clutter to your website. And in a few minutes, I'll walk you through how my website looks and how I design my menus. Always have the pages open in new tabs. So typically with your menus, if you have like a menu that says, going to your story page, you click on that, that should open into a new tab, okay? You always want to be doing that. Use the right sidebar for ads only. So when we talk about menus, we only have like the navigation on the top with the menu bars that are at the top, and maybe at the bottom you have what are called footer menus. You also have menus that come on the side, and those are sidebars. Okay, so if you want to think of your blog, think of it as like a sheet of paper folded into thirds. The middle section is your content, and then the left and right columns are the sidebars. Okay, and what you do not want to do, okay, is fill up both columns with ads, okay, and with other things, because what that does is it's so much competing noise, okay, it makes your eyes really confused, it causes eye strain, and it literally pushes your content really down. I mean, it's like it's just taking a second stage, a second seat. So what the left side of the sidebar, okay, the far left side, the only thing I put there are social share buttons. And what's really nice now, there are certain plugins where those social share buttons can really be minimized, and you can still, the content is still going to be the star. Think of this. Less is more. If there's anything I want to tell you in this, if you're taking notes, put that in big letters, circle it, highlight it. Less is more. And I also want to tell you too, sometimes in these, with blog design, there's this, people like to put in like a big background image on the blog, thinking like a big nature scene or a beach. That is very detrimental because, number one, that can overtake the blog because it can be very noisy. And number two, that big of an image, that is going to make your website run super duper slow. So I wouldn't have any type of background image. If you want to put a color, that's fine, but keep that color very light. Try to make it as transparent as possible. My recommendation, keep the background white. And here's another big one that I see too. Avoid too many pop-ups, okay? I don't know if you guys remember, but back 10 years ago, when you would go online, you go to a website and it'd be like all these pop-up ads come up and they drive you batty because you try to click them off. Well, what I'm seeing now with a lot of people when they do their blog is that they'll have one pop-up ad, to opt in, like an exit ad when they're about to leave the page. That's totally fine. But where I'm seeing people make some big mistakes is that there's a plugin out there, and it's called the Monarch plugin, and I'm going to show you in a minute that they're going to have the social share buttons click to go anywhere. They click all the choices. So all of a sudden, you've got the social share button on the left side. It's flying in from the right. Then there's one showing up at the bottom, and then there's one big one that pops up right in front of the content. And when you have all of those coming up at once, people hate that. They don't want that. So what you need to do is you want to keep only one pop-up. So if you're using MLSP sites, you know, using Opt-in Monster, and there might be another one on there. I use Opt-in Monster. You only want that up once. People will tolerate one pop-up, but they won't tolerate any other pop-ups. And the more images in the sidebar that you have, it detracts from the content. So you want to keep it very, very minimal. Oops, there we go again. Let me get back to my site here. So here it is, strategic placement of your social share buttons. Where you want to go for social share, always the left-hand side, okay? Just like people were trained that blue is a clickable link, social share buttons, people are trained to see the social share buttons on the left-hand side, okay? I went and I have done tests on the Monarch plugin, and I find that I get more shares on the left-hand side. And now this is where people really trip up here, is that you only need to click one button, okay? That is the sidebar. What other people have mistakenly done when using this plugin is they'll click it for inline, pop-up, fly-in, and media. So if you click on all of those, they're all going to show up. So you want to deselect everything else and keep it to the sidebar, okay? I've seen it where I've had it up on top of my blog post and at the bottom of my blog post using this inline form. And for Monarch, it's just too busy. I mean, the colors are too bright, and it really detracts from the content. And when I find that I keep my social share buttons to the left side, I get a higher share rate. Tip number 5. Let's talk about mobile responsiveness. Now, I wound up getting these statistics from Bop Design that came out this past February. 60% of internet access is mobile. That's worldwide. 90% of U.S. adults have a cell phone. And out of that 90%, 58% have a smartphone. Smartphone users check their phone, this blew me away, an average of 150 times per day. Think about that. I mean, I'm thinking, boy, do I really check my smartphone that much? And probably I do. I mean, that is how powerful mobile sites are. Here's another telling statistic. 46% of smartphone users say that blogs are difficult to read and navigate. So you got to keep that in mind when you're creating your content and design, that 46% of people, you know, that is a huge chunk of market that's finding your blogging or reading blogs difficult. So if you can create a really smooth, elegant design, you're going to capture that 46%. Now think about that. That's a huge market share that you can grab, all right? And they're going to come to your blog because you've got something that's elegant and easy to read and navigate. So here's the tool that you can use to navigate a blog. It's called quirktools.com/Screenfly. So if you put, and I'll bring up the browser here right now. So I'm going to kind of, at the end of when I take you on the tour of my website, I'll make sure that I bring up that tool. And you can just type in your URL of your blog, and then it shows all these different sites that you can test it on. So you can pick and say, you know, how big is the screen for your desktop and laptop? What type of phone you're using? How does your website look on an Apple's i6 or a iPad or a Samsung S5 or a Galaxy. You can look on there and see how your blog is looking. So let's take a look at my blog right now, and then I'm going to bring that back here in just a bit. So I'm going to come back here. All right, let's see. And I shall go to entire. Let me know, Ryan, if you see. I'm going to type this in. Screenfly here. Okay. Okay, can you see my screen there, Ryan? Where it says Screenfly? Ryan, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, can you see the Screenfly?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, so I'm just going to type in a name here. I'm going to type in one of my mentors, markharbert.com, and I'm going to, now if it brings up his site, you can see here, this is what it looks like on a desktop, and if I click here, you can see what it looks like on a 23-inch, 24-inch, on a 13-inch notebook. Here with a tablet, you can see how it looks like with a Galaxy, how it looks with an iPad. On a mobile device, we can come here. They even have these old Blackberries. You can see here with a S5 from Samsung or an Apple iPhone, you can see how that looks. You can even look and see how it looks like on television. Okay, so this is just a really great tool to look at, and that is going to help you make sure that your design is mobile friendly. And what's really cool about MLSP sites is that every theme is mobile responsive. So let me take you over quickly to my my blog. This is my homepage. I'm going to be redoing my homepage because I want to optimize it a little bit better. But as you can see here, I want to show you my my menu bar up here. As you can see, I have no drop-down menus. So if I want to come here, free live coaching, if I click on that, you can see it goes right to a Wednesday webinar. If I want to go to my blog menu, it comes right up there. It's just still loading there a little bit. If I want to come up to my work with Dr. Lisa, that's my work with me page. As you can see, I've got my pictures loading and everything up there pretty quick. And let me take you here now. I have like some free trainings that I offer, and instead of having the drop-down menu, this is how I set up my trainings here. So for like social media, as you can see here, I have from MLSP some of the free trainings. So I have like Instagram, I have the Periscope, Facebook retargeting, all these that are congruent to social media. And then what they do is if they click on the button here, look what happens. Okay, it just opens up in a new window, and they can access the training. And I'll show you here with, I have one for mindset training, with some more free campaigns for My Lead System Pro. I do have a paid one on here, the Deep Abyss, which is totally awesome. And some of my other ones that I have on here. As you can see down here, I took some of the morning calls from My Lead System Pro. I just went into their MLSP RSS feed, and I pulled out some of my favorite MLSP calls that I know that my people would love, and they can go there and they can listen to the training. So I have that there so that they have something that they enjoy. My doctor is in. I click on that. That takes me right to my Facebook fan page, and they go right to my video page where they can look at my playlists. I have my playlists by month and all the videos and episodes there for that month so that they can watch that to their heart's content. And then recommended resources, if they click on here. As you can see, this is my where I have some paid tools. So I have like Aweber, the 3-Minute Expert. I'm an affiliate with Ray Higdon, so I offer his full course. Facebook Advertising Mastery, InstaLead Magic, Video Marketing Insider. That's Mark. I'm an affiliate for Mark Harbert, and so I promote one of these. And then Webinar Sales Magic is my other one that I have. And then I'll show you one more thing here. I'll show you a blog post that I wrote today. And I'll just show you how I do my blog what a blog post looks like for me. As you can see here, these are my share buttons. They're on the left-hand side. I have my title. That's in red. Usually on WordPress, they'll have like default settings for your webinar, or not webinar, your blog titles. So you can pick what color. I like using red. It just pops out. And then you can see here we have the subject. Okay, I have my subject headings. Okay, and you can see here I put one in here. This one went a little bit long. And it looks like for some reason it just went off here on my, just doesn't look right. I'll have to go and readjust. But you can see here that this is what I did to, up here this was a little text heavy, so I added that image there. Here is my video to my Dr. Is In show. I like to embed it. And then, you know, people can like it, or they can click here and go right to my Facebook fan page. And then down here, here's my PS for a call to action. And if you notice here, if I click on this link here, whoops, that did not go over to my, I thought I had that, well, my mistake there, I thought I had that clicked. But if I were to open that link in a new tab, that would have taken it. I was promoting here the Webinar Sales Magic course that My Lead System Pro has. On the right side, you see here my Connect, Follow Me buttons. I have those small. This is, instead of having an opt-in bar, I'm following what Ray said to have, I made this image on Canva. And so what this does is if I open this link into a new tab, this shows my opt-in form there. Need a mentor. If you opened here, that just takes me to my Work With Me page. So as you can see, I'm branding a lot of myself in my blog. And so I made this also in Canva. I have the My Lead System Pro opt-in here. This is my automated webinar that I do for my Instagram design. I call it my InstaWow design. Where I wind up getting leads and sales from this, promoting InstaLead Magic. And then I just have my likes button here where people, if they come to my my page, you know, my blog post here and they want to like my fan page here, they can do that. So that's basically my design for my blog. And Ryan, what do you think?
That's awesome. I'm like over here taking notes because I'm like, okay, actually I'm on right now.
So those are just some real simple tips and strategies. And right now that's about all I have for my training. I do want to bring up really quickly. Let's see. Let me make sure that I can. We'll get that shared again here. We'll come back to the PowerPoint. So if people want to connect with me, I'll just put up the link here. They can just go to facebook.com, Dr. Lisa Thompson, or to my website at drlisamthompson.com, and then you can kind of see what I have laid out. And that's about it. So let's open it up for a Q&A.
Yeah. I know a couple of guys will have some questions. I opened up the Q&A. I want to let you guys know. Let me just see if you can see this, Lisa.
Okay.
Did that pop up for you?
No, it didn't. No, it didn't pop up for me.
Okay. Let me see.
It says over here features let me see here. Oh, here's the questions. Oh, that's a broadcast message.
Yeah. So did that show up? Any questions?
Anybody has any?
Let's see what that was. Can you see the chat, Lisa?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, cool. If anybody has any questions, you may just want to pop them in the chat if the Q&A doesn't work.
Okay. If you guys just want to pop questions in the chat right now, we can do that.
Yeah, because we should be able to read them.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. So if you do have any questions, and what's really cool is I'm sure Ryan's going to have this available for replay for his team, so you can always come back and look, because I really gave you a lot of things to think about. But if you go through and you look at it, I don't have a home page. Is that important? I always have a home page. I think that's a really good way to, a lot of the top earners have a home page. It's really important to have that because you want a welcome video and an opt-in form right up at the top, because then what that does is that helps. I'm going to bring up my site again really quickly. So when you look at my site, when you look at a lot of the leaders, they have a home page, and what they do is they have a giveaway to get people on their list. Okay? So what I have, I'm going to be redoing my giveaway. I'm doing more of a personal branded giveaway. I was giving away the Instagram, MLSP Instagram cheat sheet and video, but I'm going to be launching pretty soon my own branded giveaway with social media, how to attract your perfect prospects and leaders using social media. But you want to keep, the video really short, just saying who you are, how you help people, how often you create content. So it would go something like this, hi, I'm Dr. Lisa Thompson, and I help marketers build their brand, get leads and sales using social media. I create content on almost a daily basis and want you to receive my most recent updates. So fill in the information you see on your screen right now, and for doing so, I will give you my, whatever the branded giveaway is. And this is going to show you how to. So go ahead, fill in the information right now, and enjoy your free gift. Something really simple. Don't promote your company. Promote you and your value. And you'll find that, because then what you can do, what's really cool, is that when you go on social media and you're promoting your blog post, or you're giving out, maybe you're doing like videos or something on YouTube, or maybe you're doing Facebook videos and you're teaching, providing value to your followers, and then you can say, if you'd like more information, go to my website and when you do, get my free gift for you, which is, and see, what that does then is it doesn't sound pitchy, it doesn't sound salesy, and if you're giving good value, people will go to your website, check it out, and they will get your free gift. So I would highly recommend that you get one. And then as you're building your value and you start attracting leaders, then what you can do, I'm going to be getting rid of this eventually in my specialties, but then what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my, you can put your testimonials here, okay? Because that's another great thing with the homepage. You want some social proof. If you've got leaders, who you've taken courses with, maybe they're your coaches or mentors, you can put their testimonials, written testimonials, and you can put it right on your homepage. Or if you've got people right now, like on your social media accounts, that are really loving your value that you're bringing out and giving you positive comments, you can reach out to them and say, hey, thank you for leaving such a great comment on my Facebook fan page. Would you be okay if I used it as a testimonial? A lot of people will say yes. So I would definitely have my home page. That's very important.
Yeah, I actually I've been looking at reading Ryan one because even with him and myself, it goes straight to
You're kind of cutting out there, Ryan.
Am I?
Yeah.
Can you hear me better now at all?
Yep, better.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you look at all the top earners, I think we were just talking about Tanya Eliza, and that first thing that you see on her page is just a way to get her free survival kit.
Mm-hmm.
And that stuff is huge. So yeah, the homepage is definitely big. Did you see Buster's question from the Q&A?
Yeah, this was a super great training. Not sure if my question showed up in the question section. How did you get the small thumbnail pics to show up on your blog page? Well, I use Buster. What type of theme are you using? Can you type that in the chat? Are you using the Divi theme? So we'll wait for his answer, because with Divi, you have to put a certain piece of code in in a certain section. Okay, you are using Divi. Okay, let me show you. I'm gonna I'll bring up my screen in just a second. I'm going to bring up my. I'm going to bring up sites here real quick. I'll go into my back office, and we will get that set up here. Okay. And I'll quick do a screen share there. Okay. So Ryan, can you see my screen, my back office into WordPress?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So what you'll need to do, there's kind of a couple things that you have to do. I did put this in the 30-day blog blitz group way back right before Thanksgiving, so we'll have to see if we can find that. But if you go up to theme options and you click on that, well, it should be coming up here pretty quick. There's a couple of things that you'll have to do. You'll have to go to layout settings, and you'll want to make sure on the single page layout that you disable the place thumbs on pages. And then you have to go to under general settings. Is it under? Yep, under general settings. There's this piece of code that you have to put in under the custom CSS settings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit copy here, and I'm going to shoot that over to you, Buster. And if there's a way you can copy this code into your copy it, get it into a notepad right away, that would you put that in there, and then your images will show up smaller. That was something I had to do some research with the Divi theme, and found someone who was able to get that for me. So hopefully that will answer your question there, Buster. Okay. Anyone else have any questions or comments?
Do you use your when you run Facebook ads to a particular post? Are you running, or do you run any ads to any particular posts?
Not yet. I will eventually start doing that, but that's I would do native advertising with that, or doing a boost your post. You can do that on Facebook. All of this traffic that I've been getting is organic traffic. So I went in there and I have I've gone in and I've configured all the settings. So I highly recommend, guys, that you go through that course, that 3-minute expert, and in the bonus section, Rob Ford has his exact configurations for everything for your sites. So if you get that configured, and then Terrence Lamar Williams has another awesome training about using Social Monkey, about how to get backlinks to your blog. That's another way you can get some more views, so you can go there. And I'm going to show you another cool one here. I've used this to like syndicate my blog, but I'm going to bring it up right now. It's called Viral Content Buzz. Tanya Eliza introduced me to this, and this is just absolutely a really great way to get your blog post syndicated. Okay, so I'm just going to type in my name. And what this does, this is free. Okay, they do have a premium version, but all you have to do really is you go in and you look at people's posts, okay, and if you see something you like, you will go in, and if you share it on any of these social media sites, you see a number here, that's credits, and then you get enough credits, you can come in and put your blog post on here, and then people will share your content. You can get a lot of views and your site can go viral. This is an awesome, awesome tool to really get more views to your site.
Oh, that's like good stuff.
So, viralcontentbuzz.com. So just have that. They have a training, so when you register, go through the training that they have and they'll show you the exact steps how to use it. It's absolutely fantastic. It's a really great way to get more views to your blog and just bring in more organic traffic. So you really, if you don't have money for an ad spend, this is the way to go.
That's awesome. Now, anybody that's new to blogging, I know there's some new people here that are new to blogging.
You kind of stumbled again.
What about, is that better?
Yep, much better.
Okay, I think this is a question that I'll ask. Because I've not even completed 12 months of blogging yet. So, for the new blogger, how do you write your content in terms of, like, are you writing a blog post every day, or are you writing 3 a day and then posting boom, boom, boom?
What I like to do.
How do you stay consistent? That's the big question.
Yeah, what I like to do is I dedicate, I block off a chunk of time on Saturday morning. I'm an early morning riser. You know, I'm up at 4:45 in the morning, Monday through Friday, but then I'm up at 4 Saturday, Sunday. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm a very productive person in the morning. I've always been all my life. So what I do from like 4 in the morning up until like 9:30, I do all my blog posts. Okay, so I come up with my content. What the simplest way for people to do, and Ray talked about this in his bonus Q&As in the 3-minute expert. So if you're in My Lead System Pro, go pick a training. Okay, you can be in the system campaigns, or if you've taken a paid course, or you can go and look in the marketing strategies. Pick a training, take plenty of notes, and then come up with like one big takeaway from, like 7 big takeaways from the training, excuse me, and then write a blog post every day, all right, for 7 days on that training based on the takeaways. So if you were watching, let's say, you were watching Michelle Pesco-Salido's Tips to Staying Out of Facebook Jail. So you could do one blog post that says why you shouldn't be tagging people in, you know, putting your links everywhere in groups, and you could come up with a solution. Why you shouldn't be using an auto posting schedule, you know, all of those types of, you know, and so you can do it in a series, because then what that does is that you can say, okay, you know, day 1 you started a Facebook get out of jail Facebook training. Okay, so you're going to do that for, let's say, 5 to 7 days. So you have your first day, you're covering one segment. Second day, you can say, okay, we're starting our second day. If you didn't catch the first one, click here, make a clickable link that goes back to the first day. And so you can do, you can get really good engagement that way. That's what I'm doing this week. I've been focusing on webinar marketing. I started that late last week. So I talked about why we should be doing webinar marketing, ways to boost your attendance. I talked today in my blog post how to structure your webinar registration page. Tomorrow I'm going to be talking about when you start emailing. And throughout that, and the reason I do like 7 days, and I always have my call to action being the webinar sales magic course, because statistics say people need to look at something 7 times before they make a decision. So if you do something like that, you're going to increase the chances of people actually buying from you, webinar sales magic or whatever that training is.
Makes a lot of sense.
So that's kind of the cool stuff.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I know we're about 10 minutes. We're about 10 minutes. So if anybody has any questions, obviously, you know how to reach out to Lisa. Lisa, did you? Now I'm not sure if you wanted to do this or not, but did you want to set up an exclusive, I guess, kind of members-only webinar for some exclusive people that wanted to take advantage of some of your personal time? I know this one wasn't going to be free, but I know some people really did want to take advantage of your expertise.
Maybe what we can do, Ryan, after the new year, you and I can get together. Maybe we can set something up where we can do like, we can pick a couple people if they want to have their, I can critique their blog, and we can kind of look at that and kind of see what we need to do. That way we can do, everyone can benefit. So if we had something like that, you and I can keep in touch, and then that way people can come with their questions, first come, first serve. We can really dive in and see what they're doing and everything. And that'll give them time, with what they received in this training to make adjustments. And then we can look and see, well, if anything else we need to really tighten it up.
Excellent. That's cool. So, yeah, we'll definitely stay in touch. And I know things are getting kind of crazy with the holidays, approaching really quick. So definitely either reach out to me or reach out to Lisa if you want us to do it. We'll probably do 2 or 3 people. That way, one, we don't want to take too long, but 2, we want to make sure that if you want to get your blog critiqued, then we give you the amount of time to actually help you, move in that direction. So, we're gonna hit it. I know Lisa's probably gonna hit it too. So, Lisa, again, I want to just thank you so much for being here. Getting some awesome feedback from these guys, and I know they loved having you. So,
if they can do me a huge favor, if you can go to my fan page, I'll bring that up here really quickly. I'll bring that up here. Bring it up here, and if you guys can leave me some feedback, because what I would like to do with this training is I'm eventually going to take this training, not necessarily what I shared tonight, but I'm going to be putting together a special course on blog design. And so I would like, your feedback to know if there's anything I can do better or what you liked about it. And what I would like to eventually do is use you as a testimonial, anyone who wants to leave a testimonial here, and that can give you more exposure as well. So if you can go here to facebook.com/Dr. Lisa Thompson, you can see it right here. You can like my page. That way you can see what I'm doing. And if you have any specific questions, you can always message me there as well, and I can try to answer them there too.
Well, you heard it here first, guys. So, Lisa, definitely want to thank you again. And you're just absolutely amazing, an absolute expert in your field, and it's just wonderful having you. And definitely be having you again.
Awesome. I am so glad to be here, and you guys have been just terrific with your questions and your energy, and I'm really honored and happy to provide value and serve you.
Amazing stuff, guys. Guys, if you don't have if you don't have a membership to My Lead System Pro, definitely reach out to someone that you know in My Lead System Pro that's invited you to My Lead System Pro. Find a leader that knows what they're doing in My Lead System Pro because these strategies work. They're proven. You know, they work if you work. So get My Lead System Pro, get your blog set up. It's absolutely amazing, and start taking some training because if you're not getting the results that you want in your business, you know, I'm proof. I mean, Lisa's proof of it. I'm proof of it. My Lead System Pro absolutely works. So get it, use it, love it, share it, and win. So Lisa, guys, good night. This is Ryan McMorris again, Monday Marketing Mastery. Tell everybody about it. Show up next week. Put it in your calendar. Pin it, post it, whatever, and we'll see you next week, guys.
All right, bye, guys. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, guys. Bye.